America's healthcare system. Let's talk about it.
Help me make this make sense. First of all, I'm half tempted to buy a plane ticket to Turkey to get all of my medical stuff straightened out because I'm sorry, what? I have to see a specialist and I have to wait until January to see a specialist, and I could be potentially getting worse while I wait. That's crap. I'm sorry, but America is just crap. The health system is crap. I watched this girl's vlog about her going to Turkey, and she's like, I flew to Turkey and I spent $810, and she got from head to toe all of her tests done with no issues. Got in, got out. Why, America? Why is our health crap?
Yo, I love the United States. I do. I love this country. I'm proud to be an American. But by God, I will say the healthcare system here is complete garbage. And probably one of the main reasons for that is because it's handled by the U.S. government. If you guys have ever worked with the government, worked for the government, or have done projects that have to do with the government, you guys understand how much of a pain in the complete ass it is to complete whatever said project you're working on. Anything the government touches is just complete and utter bullshit, if I'm being honest here. And I've had the same thing just happen to me recently. So I was training for a race, right? And I kept having some like waist pain. I thought it was maybe a potential hernia starting to come through or something like that. And I started calling the local primary doctors in my area because I didn't want to go to urgent care. It just didn't hurt that bad. It wasn't severe enough to do that. And I really didn't want to drop $500-$600 for an urgent care bill. Yes, insurance I have sucks. So I decided that I was going to call some of the doctors that were within the portal of my search on my insurance program or website, and it was the same thing. I was going to have to wait 6 to 7 months before I was able to get seen. And I'm like, guys, what if this was a severe issue for me? Like, well, you can always go to urgent care. I was like, well, what if I don't need to pay that? Can I just go to a doctor's office? She's like, no, sorry, unfortunately, that's not how it works. So not only can I not get into a doctor's office as a visit just to get a little checkup and to see where I need to go from here, but when I do finally get into a doctor's visit, or I have to go to urgent care or wherever I'm going, I'm paying an arm and a leg on top of already paying for insurance. Now, I want to do this as like a 5-part series, and I want to touch on some of the things that I think could potentially make the U.S. healthcare system better, and I want your all's thoughts and opinions on this. But one of the ways I think that could improve the overall healthcare system is being a fully market-based healthcare system. Now, I want to explain this as we go and react to these different clips, but it says, in a fully market-based healthcare system, health insurance companies would operate by competing on price and plan features to attract customers, relying on factors like transparent pricing, diverse plan options, and individual consumer choices to determine the market share, potentially leading to lower premiums for healthier individuals while potentially raising costs for high-risk patients if not regulated appropriately. Now remember that, I want to discuss that as we go throughout the video, but I do believe that could be a potential fix in the U.S. healthcare system is by going on a market-based system.
Do you want to know how bad healthcare is in America? Here's how bad it is. I get stitches, cut my finger the other day. Go into the hospital, get my stitches done. No big deal, whatever. I have to wait 2 weeks to get them taken out. In the meantime, I get billed for my visits. Before insurance, for 5 stitches, $3,800. After insurance,
No way.
$1,800. Or $1,900, excuse me. After insurance, $1,900 for 5 stitches for a terrible hospital visit. Anyway, fast forward, so I get my bill and it's time to take the stitches out, so I schedule an appointment at the urgent care that is associated with the hospital that I went to, same company. So I schedule suture removal appointment online, and then I go in for the appointment and they say, sorry, we're not going to take those out. Since you got them done at the hospital, you have to get them removed at the hospital. I said, why didn't you tell me that when I scheduled the appointment online? They said, sorry, go to the hospital. So I go to the hospital. And then I wait around for a while in the ER, and then I get back and I ask the nurse, hey, this is what happened. They turned me away at urgent care, told me to come here, that you guys would do it for free. Is that true? And the nurses said, let me check on that. I'm going to check with billing really fast. So they go check on billing, and then they say, sorry, billing says that you'll have to pay to get these stitches removed. And I said, that really sucks because I paid $1,800 to have that done after insurance. And they said, that is absolutely ridiculous. And I said, I know. And then I said, gonna be honest, I'm not gonna pay any more money to the hospital because I already paid too much anyway. So I'm just gonna go. And I said, I think I might just remove them myself. And they said, that makes sense because that was so much money. So we'll just take you off triage. It'll be like you're never here. Don't worry about it. And then they were like, you know what? Don't tell anybody we gave you this. And they gave me a little kit to remove my stitches myself. So that's a little story about healthcare in America. $1,800 will get you 5 stitches, and then nurses have to go behind the backs of the hospital to get you treated. So that's pretty stupid.
Yo, that $1,800 to get some stitches. There's an argument that goes around that's like, healthcare is not a right. It's a privilege. And I feel like for me, if you're a citizen of a country that has a decent healthcare system, you should be able to have access to healthcare. Now, there should be some sort of pain points as far as different tiers go, and again, I'm no expert in this, guys, and I would love to hear others' opinions on how this could improve in our country. But I would love to see, like I said, the market-based system, so someone can literally call up either hospitals, doctors' offices, or maybe they come up with new buildings that are just focused on certain areas. I don't know how it would happen in the market-based system, but what would be awesome is just to call up or go online, look at a menu, and it says CAT scan, $200. Add and remove stitches, $100. Get your annual checkup, $50. That's how it should be. I want to be able to call them and say, hey, I got something going on. This is hurting. I have a sinus infection or whatever it is. Can you check it out? What is that going to cost me to do? Well, sir, let's see here. For a checkup, it's going to cost you $25. And then if you do have a sinus, you're going to have probably these antibiotics. That's going to cost you $15. And then you'd be like, okay, cool, thanks. I'm going to call and check around and see other pricing. And I'll let you guys know. Oh, well, actually, sir, thank you for saying that you're going to be shopping us around. We actually have a coupon for first-time visitors, or we need to get more people in the office, so we're going to drop our rates, or we have deals because holidays are coming up, or whatever it is. That's a market-based system. That's how every other business in the United States works, most of them. They're competing for your business, but no. Who's in power here? And who is lobbying billions of dollars to our U.S. government? Insurance companies. So that'd be a hard battle to win, to be able to go that route, but something's got to happen. Something has to happen.
I love America. I love our country, but it does suck that healthcare is so expensive here.
I have no idea what other people
and the
pay.
pricing is honestly BS though, because
I have learned that
they will say one price, and then the insurance company will say, no. They'll negotiate it down. So it's not just like a fair, oh, here's the price.
Well, isn't it also weird that they have a different price if you have insurance and then if you're paying out of pocket? In general, that's just weird because you'd be like, this is what the service costs, and this is what the medications or the devices we use cost. Also, isn't it so weird? I was literally thinking about this today because I was paying our kids' medical bills. You don't know what you're agreeing to before you go in, but you have to get it done. You can't pay it right away, and then they inflate it and make it so confusing.
That's what bugs me, actually. I wish you could just go in and pay right there. It
Any
bothers
other
me.
service you get done, that's the case.
I think they overcomplicate it on purpose to screw people over, and so that they make more money, because there's a lot of money in healthcare.
That's so true. I mean, so here's the other thing to think about on that aspect is, there's been many times that my wife or I have called and asked, what is this going to cost us? This is what we need. How much is this going to cost us? Well, we actually don't really know. Okay, I'm like, well, why not? Well, it's got to go through your insurance. And I was like, okay, well, what are you going to bill the insurance company? Well, we don't really know that yet until we get to the insurance process. I was like, so I'm going to go in and get this work done, right? And I just crossing my fingers that it's not going to be a complete disaster when I get that bill. How is that ethically correct? It's not. Any other industry, if you did it that way, it would be all hell breaks loose. Here's the other crazy part. Whenever we go to call, and sometimes we will get a certain price, but it's because of this one thing, I'll ask what the price will be. Oh, sorry, we don't know with your insurance and whatnot. I have to go through the billing system and all that. I was like, okay, well, let me ask you this. How much will it pay if it's self-pay? And a lot of the time, not most, a lot of the time that we've come across, it's cheaper for my wife and I to just self-fund it, to just self-pay, because one, I also get an idea of what I'm going to be paying, but it's actually sometimes comes out to be cheaper than using the insurance that we use. Now, see, I'm self-employed. My wife is a PRN nurse. She works one shift like every 2 or 3 weeks, and we don't have access to like normal health insurance. Like I could go to Obamacare and do that, but I'm not paying the freaking arm and a leg for that. So we choose to use Medishare, and it doesn't cover that much. Like it's kind of crappy insurance. It's not even actually real insurance. It's a sharing method with other Christians around the country. But what we have it for is basically catastrophic insurance in case something major happens to one of my kids or my wife or I, and we're in the hospital for months and months on end. That's what we have that for. But ultimately, I mean, it's crazy how crappy this whole insurance process is. But I want to get back to a couple of the benefits, what I believe with a market-based system, and then what a couple cons would be to also having that market-based system when it comes to healthcare. Now, some of those key aspects I was talking about is the consumer choice. Individuals would get to select healthcare plans from a range of options offered by different insurers based on their needs and budget. Price transparency, you'd be understand what the health stuff's going to cost. Competition among insurers. Insurers are competing for your business, so they're going to get better rates because you can go shop elsewhere. Risk-based premiums. Premiums could vary based on individual health status and risk factors, allowing insurers to price plans more accurately. Healthcare savings accounts. One of my favorite accounts out there. If you have one, please take advantage of it. Individuals might be encouraged to use HSAs to manage their healthcare expenses, promoting cost consciousness.
I am so beyond frustrated right now with our U.S. health system. I have a severe blockage in my esophagus, so I have to have a procedure done, which is a surgery, an EDG, to have biopsies done on what the blockage may be. And I just got notification that my insurance doesn't cover this surgery. So I have to pay out of pocket for something I have to get done because it's life-threatening. If I do not have this procedure done and they do not stretch my esophagus, I may impact food and have to have emergency surgery to have that removed because it could kill me. And my insurance doesn't cover it. So now I have to pay $2,100 by Tuesday. $2,100 that I was not expecting to have to pay. I have 2 children. I'm a stay-at-home mom currently. My husband busts his ass as a law enforcement officer. And my health insurance does not cover the procedure at all. I'm at a loss for words. Truly at a loss for words. But I have to have the procedure done, and if I don't, it just may not end well for me. So for the sake of my babies, for the sake of my health, guess who just had to dish out $2,100? This girl.
It's happening everywhere all the time, and there's tons of these videos when I was doing research for this video, and that's very common. That's so common. Just the fact that people are having to overpay for procedures, or at least be notified of like what's gonna happen. Like I feel like an insurance company, like the fact that you pay all this money and then when something life-threatening happens that you have to have done, they're gonna deny coverage. What the hell is the point of having it then? Again, I'm not smart enough to be able to have the one plan fits all, because if we go back to the risk or the potential challenges in a market-based healthcare system, you have adverse selection, meaning individuals with higher healthcare needs might be more likely to purchase insurance, leading to higher premiums for insurers and potentially causing health individuals to opt out. Market concentration, a few large insurance companies dominate the market. Competing could be limited, or competition could be limited, leading to higher prices and less choice for consumers. And another con or risk to a market-based system would be information asymmetries. Consumers may not have enough knowledge to make informed decisions about complex health plans, potentially leading to suboptimal choices. Now again, some stuff along that could help is different tier structures maybe, or if there is like our first responders, so all military, police, because I think the government's always going to have some sort of hand, or at least some sort of regulatory or regulation around healthcare if we go a market-based system. But if you have your first responders, like I said, police, firefighters, nurses, the EMTs, all those first responders out there, they would get like their own tier of healthcare. Like if you're providing a safe area, or like you're doing something to help the community, like I feel like that would put you in like a separate tier of discounted insurance. And or maybe teachers too. Teachers, like some lower income jobs, can get a better tier of insurance, and it's just kind of is what it is. Or we have a flat fee, a flat fee to meet your healthcare cost, and then it's kind of a government / market based system. I don't know. You can see how difficult this would be. That's why I'm glad I don't have to be the guy to make this up. But there's gotta be a better way. Gotta be a better way than what we have now, because what we have now is complete dog doo-doo. And I would like to think most of you watching would agree with me.
The cost of healthcare in America has ballooned over the last 20, 30 years, and it's not because doctors cost more to the system. Healthcare has skyrocketed because for every doctor, you need like 10 to 15 administrators. It's literally a disaster.
Is there a solution?
No.
I mean, no, there's not.
Well, some people will say universal health care is the solution.
Yeah.
There's no one-size-fits-all answer, because some people will say, well, universal health care isn't free health care. It's still paid by somebody. It's paid by us, the taxpayers. And if we're being honest, whatever the government does usually isn't the most effective or efficient way of doing things.
100% correct. Like I said at the beginning of the video, most things the government has their hands in and tries to manage or to run, it's just always a complete disaster, and it's not efficient, and they just don't understand to operate money efficiently. One thing that I feel like I have to say in this video is, because of this healthcare system is so screwed up, and what we have to deal with is just reiterate something I talk about in every single video, guys. We have to have an emergency fund set in place, a large sum of cash where you can live off of for 3, 6, or 12 months. And then you can utilize that if you do have some sort of health scare or a bill pop up, like the $2,100 bill for her having to get that surgery done to her esophagus, stuff like that. If that pops up, you have the cash sitting there. Yes, it sucks. The healthcare system sucks. The insurance company I have some choice words for them. If you have this pile of cash sitting here, though, financially, you're prepared for something like that. It's unfortunate we have, as American citizens, we have to worry about that all the time. I get worried about that all the time with having 2 kids, and then my wife and I, that we're not getting any younger. Stuff's gonna start happening to us too. It sucks that as a family that's always like in the back of your head, like, man, I hope nothing bad happens health-wise. If it does, we're not gonna be sitting pretty. I mean, it just is what it is. If something major happens like that, that could get nasty very fast. So something's got to change. And if you guys have an idea, let me know. I'm curious.